A slave rises to become a ruler. An emperor is captured because of betrayal. A court ignites a civil war, and a political decision plunges a nation into chaos. How can a single moment change history? Now, let us return to the beginning of this story. Training the Mamluk slaves, The Mamluks were originally slaves of non-Arab origin who were brought into the Islamic world beginning in the 9th century and trained to become elite soldiers. Over time, however, they did not remain merely capable troops serving their Muslim masters. They evolved into a powerful and independent military class, especially in Egypt. In 1250, they seized power in Egypt and Syria, establishing the Mamluk Sultanate, which lasted until 1517. During this period, they defeated the Crusaders and expelled them from the region, and they also won major victories against the Mongols. Even after the Ottoman Empire conquered Egypt in 1517, the Ottomans retained the Mamluks as local rulers and military commanders, and they remained in positions of power until 1811. Mercenaries of Manzikert in 1071, the Byzantine Emperor Romanos IV, Diogenes led a large army to recover territories in eastern Anatolia that had been lost to the Seljuk Turks. His army included professional soldiers and many mercenaries from both inside and outside the empire, including Turkish fighters themselves. Many of these foreign troops, however, lacked strong loyalty to the Byzantine Empire, which later became a serious problem. Romanos divided his army and sent part of it to capture a nearby fortress, but that force never returned, leaving his army far smaller than planned. He then marched toward the town of Manzikert and captured it easily. The Seljuks, however, began using hit-and-run attacks with mounted archers, damaging Byzantine morale and exhausting and confusing the army. On the day of battle, the Byzantines advanced, but when they attempted to withdraw in the evening, a general named Andronikos Doukas, from a rival noble family, ignored Romanos' orders and abandoned the battlefield. This caused panic and the flight of large numbers of soldiers. Some blamed the Armenians for fleeing first, while others claimed they had fought bravely. The only forces that clearly remained loyal to Romanos were his personal guard and some Armenian infantry, who suffered heavy losses. The Seljuks surrounded the remaining Byzantine forces and captured Emperor Romanos. This was a shocking event, as no Roman emperor had ever before been captured alive by a Muslim commander. Romanos was eventually released, but upon returning home, he found that his enemies from the powerful Doukas family had seized power. They deposed him, blinded him, and sent him into exile, where he died shortly afterward. In the following years, the Byzantines lost vast territories that they were never able to recover. The Dred Scott Decision 1857, in 1857. The Supreme Court of the United States issued its ruling in Dred Scott v. Sanford which had a profound impact on the country. Dred Scott was an enslaved man whose owner, Dr. John Emerson, had taken him from Missouri, a slave state, to live in Illinois and Wisconsin, both free states. After Emerson's death, Scott asked Emerson's widow, Irene, to allow him to purchase his freedom, but she refused. With the help of lawyers, Scott filed a lawsuit, arguing that he had become free by living on free soil. Eventually, the case reached the Supreme Court. The court ruled against Scott by a vote of 7-2, declaring that people of African descent, whether enslaved or free, could not be American citizens and therefore had no right to sue in federal courts. The court also held that enslaved people were property and that the Fifth Amendment protected private property, leading it to declare the Missouri Compromise of 1820 unconstitutional. That law had been an attempt to compromise between northern states seeking to limit the spread of slavery and southern states seeking to expand it. Under the court's decision, Congress had no authority to prevent slaveholders from bringing enslaved people into U.S. territories, meaning slavery could legally expand into any part of the country, even free states. The decision provoked widespread outrage in the North, made political compromise nearly impossible, energized the abolitionist movement and contributed to the rise of the new Republican Party, especially its emerging leader Abraham Lincoln. It brought the nation closer to the Civil War, which broke out just 4 years later. Asterisk. The Bush Decision 2003. When a coalition of countries led by the United States invaded Iraq in 2003, U.S. President George W. Bush and British Prime Minister Tony Blair announced that the goals were to remove weapons of mass destruction, stop Saddam Hussein's support for terrorism, and liberate the Iraqi people. The U.S. government also claimed that Saddam Hussein had ties to al-Qaeda, which carried out the September 11th attacks. Before the war began, United Nations inspectors stated that they had found no evidence of active weapons of mass destruction programs in Iraq. Several key U.S. allies, such as France and Germany, strongly opposed the invasion. Later, UN Secretary General Kofi Annan said the invasion was illegal under international law. The invasion began on March 20, 2003, with airstrikes on Baghdad, followed by the entry of about 160,000 coalition troops from Kuwait. The campaign moved quickly using a strategy known as shock and awe to overwhelm the weaker Iraqi army. U.S. forces captured Baghdad on April 9th, and Saddam Hussein and his government disappeared. On May 1, 2003, President Bush declared an end to major combat operations, but no weapons of mass destruction were found. It later became clear that the justifications for the war were based on weak or incorrect intelligence. These events led to chaos in Iraq, including widespread looting, a bloody insurgency, and years of violence among different religious and political groups. During this period, trust in the media began to decline as people became divided between supporters and opponents of Bush. Today, distrust of mainstream media has reached one of its highest levels ever. The division of Diocletian. In the late 3rd century, the Roman Empire was facing a severe crisis. It was vast, unstable, and constantly threatened by external invasions and internal rebellions, a period known as the crisis of the 3rd century. In 284, a military commander named Diocletian ascended the imperial throne and realized that the empire had become too large for one person to rule. In 286, he shared power with a trusted officer named Maximian, making them co-emperors. Diocletian ruled the eastern half, while Maximian ruled the western half. In 293, Diocletian created the system of the Tetrarchy, appointing the junior emperor, a Caesar, to assist each senior emperor. Diocletian chose Galerius for the east, while Maximian chose Constantius for the west. Each of the 4 rulers had his own region, court, and army, allowing for rapid responses to problems across the empire. For a time, this system succeeded in restoring stability, securing the borders, and ending the crisis. However, it had a major weakness. In 305, Diocletian fell ill and did something unprecedented. He abdicated and retired. He intended for the junior emperors to become the new rulers, but the system quickly collapsed. The sons of the former emperors were excluded from the plan and began fighting for power, leading to new civil wars. The eastern and western parts of the empire gradually drifted apart with different cultures and goals, weakening the state and contributing to the fall of the Western Roman Empire about 150 years later.